All right, we are here. Okay, it is now 6 p.m. This is when the webinar is supposed to start. So hopefully everyone is here. Now, there is a comment. You are on the broadcast page, and how this works, let me explain it to you. So that way, if we have any glitches or anything like that, or anything strange going on, you can understand what's going on, and you also understand what's happening everywhere, okay? So you are on a broadcast page on our website, on my website. But that broadcast that you're watching is being live streamed live on YouTube Live. So and it's being done through Google Hangouts. Now, when they shut down Google Hangouts, I don't know how this is going to work, but right now it's working really well. And we've been doing this for a few years. I learned it from Kimra from Freedom Hackers, the woman that runs the Freedom Hackers group in Facebook. She's a really good digital marketer, and I learned from her how to do this. She still does this to this day, this way and what's great about doing this, talking about this as an SEO webinar, this is a great way to have people on your page. Okay. So you have traffic on your page and they're staying for a long time because they're watching your video. So if you're into marketing, this is a great way to keep people on your website, which again, helps you in your SEO. Helps you rise to the top of the search engines. So that's really great. So let me tell you, there's a few things going on here, and I'm trying to get everything, all the technology stuff ready for you, everything to go run smoothly so we don't have any glitches. Being that said, technology, there's always something, right? We are recording this. This is a live recording. So, oops, let me see, something's going on. So let me go to so I got my nifty iPhone here that has my Google Hangouts in the other way on there so that I can see who's coming on. I've got my watch, my Apple Watch going on in case I get an emergency text. So I can have all bases covered here. We have Jay for our technical backup. We have Farah helping us with comments and content. So let me see. No one can hear me. Okay, let me check what's going on. I have no audio. No one can hear me. Okay. All right. Let me see. Oh, Sherry can hear me. Chris can hear. Okay. So let's just got my report. Yeah. Click. Okay, go ahead and click on Chris is saying, go ahead and click on the video. So we're gonna hold off until everyone can hear me. I was just giving a little background, so it's not the end of the world. But it says my audio is fine. Let me see here. Nope, I'm fine. My microphone is not muted. Invite people. I'm good there. I'm good there. Everything is working in my control room. Let me see here. Oh, it looks like everything is fine. Okay. All right, everybody is starting to be able to hear me. So I'm just going to give it like another minute just to make sure that everybody is logged on. We tend to start about 5 to 10 after the hour just because people have issues getting on. They have issues hearing, different things like that. So just we'll go ahead, and I guess you have to click on the video if you can't hear me. Maybe you want to make a note of that. Farah, I wonder why it was set up that way. It shouldn't be. It should be directly in the web page, actually. So that's interesting that happened. Okay. There's no link. I think you just click Christine, you just click oh, well, she can't hear me. So why am I telling her what to do? Um, okay, let me see here. All right, so everyone can hear now? So I'm going to go into the update room here, and then I've got comments here going, so let me check our comments. This is not the window for comments. Oh, let me check my messages here. Huh, that's interesting. I wonder what happened. It says, so now we're not getting the SEO value of staying on the broadcast page. That's interesting. Let's make a note of this. Farah, please post in the comments for everybody else. Let's see who else can, where's our comments? Trying to get my comment box. Where's my comments? Oh, here they are. Hyper comments. Okay. Okay, somebody else is saying no sound. Somebody had to sign up. Okay. All righty. Okay, so leave a message. Everybody is saying they can't hear the video, no sound. Our clients. Okay, so refresh the page. Let me know inside the comments area on the ones that you see on the web page. Please leave your comments there and not on the VA chats. If you're one of our VAs, don't leave your chats on Hangouts because it's getting confusing for me to go back and forth. So for all of our clients and other people who are chiming in, okay, so people can hear. Let's make sure everyone can hear. Okay, Ryan, your computer is working good, right? Okay, so it looks like it's working now. So we are going to get started then because that's going to be, yeah, too much here. Let me make my comment windows smaller so that I can, Farah will manage them for us, but I just want to make sure I have I can see what's going on. All right, so today, we're going to be talking about the SEO updates for 2019. A lot of updates, okay? So it is really moving forward quickly. And the Google and Yahoo and Bing, they're all like trying to hurry up and get the best user experience, right? They're all interested in making sure that their users, the searchers, the people who go to their search engines to look for information are getting the best experience that these companies believe that their users should be getting. So in doing that, they create algorithms, right, to work. And an algorithm is just a machine, and it's fed with math principles and math equations and things like that. So you'll see that there's a lot of math inside of algorithms. And so they're not perfect because they don't have human brains, but they're very highly intelligent already because now they're using artificial intelligence, called AI for short, to power these algorithms. And they're allowing, Google now allows their AI to create its own math rules. So when you're doing those math rules, it's like who's going to be on page one, and what, should a YouTube video be on page one or not for this term. It is going to be all about the map. And so we're going to go into a lot of that. This is probably going to take an hour, so make sure you stay. It's being recorded, but you never know. If I have some kind of outage, or as a matter of fact, I probably should try to get my charger plugged in just in case. We would hate to have to restart. Okay, because of that. All right, so I am going to be moving in between me looking at you and speaking as you can see me in my face, to moving to my slides. And I'm sorry there's a little bit of a glare, but it's already dark here in Florida, and it's evening time, and I needed some light. So anyway, we'll just have to deal with the glare. I apologize about that. When we get into the slides and stuff, you won't see a glare. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to share screens to start my presentation. Oops. And application window, and I want to go to this one here. And I have to go in and out. That's the only thing with, let me go present to everyone. All right, so now the only thing with when you're doing YouTube lives is that and through Hangouts, which is what we're doing, is what happens is the screen, can everybody see that? Farah, I can't see my, okay, I need, if you can just, Farah, if you can just chat me on the VA updates board if you can still see, can you see my presentation? Because I'm covering up the Google Hangouts, and I'm just not sure if you can still see it if I cover up the Google Hangouts window. And let me know. You should see a thing that says Google SEO 2019 update. Okay. All right. So welcome to the presentation. Now, with this presentation, I cannot go live, full screen. So you'll have to increase the size of your window. I am presenting this on a 15-inch MacBook Pro, and I see it very clearly in front of me. If you do not see it clearly, you'll probably have to increase the size of your viewing window because I can't go full screen, because then I can't work the handles in live. Okay, so with YouTube Live, I can't play it and talk at the same time, in other words. Okay, so the biggest aha moment that I had, and that most SEO gurus have had this past year, is that through all of this hoopla about doing Facebook ads and Google ads and everything for conversions, guess what? SEO beats them all. In fact, 60% of all searchers click on organic search results and not the Google ads. All right. And with Facebook ads, yes, they're great. And I never say not to run them. I think you should. However, SEO will beat Facebook ad for conversion. So what does that mean? That means that if I do a Facebook ad, the leads that I get from the Facebook ad are going to be much harder to convert. They're going to be less of them. So if I have 100 people that go through my funnel in Facebook ads, I should be able to get 2 to 5 of those to turn into clients or customers. But on SEO, you're going to get a lot more because people are actually searching. Now, there's a caveat to that, and that is you have to be on page 1 in the top 3 in order for you to be chosen, right? But all in all, the organic search results are the best for conversions, okay, and not ads. So that's a huge aha moment for many people in the digital marketing industry. So the next thing is that's very important is you have to show up, okay? When you are doing your SEO, when you are doing your Facebook marketing, whatever it is that you're doing, you have to be there. You have to be where the people are searching. So show up wherever and however people are searching. Now this makes, guess what? The more that the internet evolves, the more that we have better AI in Google, you know, the artificial intelligence gets smarter. The Facebook algorithm gets smarter. Everything gets smarter, right? With these robots and technology and artificial intelligence and everything. But guess what that means for the rest of us? More work. So it is to the point now where you must hire people to help you do this, because if you did what you have to do every day, day in and day out with SEO and Facebook marketing and everything you're going to learn today, you would not have time to speak to a customer. Okay. So you need to have your website already and up and running. You need to have multifaceted branding. You need to be able to drive traffic and you need to make sure that you're doing video, podcasts, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever your peeps are hanging out, you got to be there in whatever whatever models those are, right? So you have to be there in those models, but not only do you have to be there in those models that they're at. So for instance, if my group of people, if my peeps are all over 60, I don't need to be on Instagram, right? But I need to be on Instagram for SEO. So you see, there's still that, you still have to be there, even if it's just for SEO. All right. A Google VP said, the internet is a cesspool, and the only way to clean it up is by rewarding brands. And this was the vice president that had left a few years ago from Google. But before he left, this is what he said. He was so disgusted with all the spam on the internet, the nasty stuff and everything. So he said it's a cesspool, and the only way to clean it up is by rewarding brands. What a bummer that is for someone who has a shoe store, right? Let's say you have a shoe store in Main Street in Maintown, USA. And you just have a little shoe store and you're bringing it online and you want to sell your shoes, and you're called Main Brand Shoes. Okay, so now guess who your biggest competitor is? Nike and Adidas. How are you going to compete against Adidas and Nike? And who do you think Google is going to vote for out of those three? Because they've never heard of you, correct? So they're going to choose Nike and Adidas and have them show up higher on the search engines than your company, Main Street Shoes. But there's ways that you can get around that, and we're going to talk about that as well. So what you have to do is you have to create a digital foundation for your brand today. You must build a foundation for your brand. And so why brand? Why is Google so into this brand thing? Well, number one, it builds trust. Number two, it builds credibility. It must, and another thing about brands is they understand that it must be a multi-channel strategy. So if you are a brand, Google expects you to be on, even though they don't like Facebook and talk to Facebook, they know you're going to be on Facebook. They know you're going to be on LinkedIn. They know you're going to be on YouTube. They know you're going to be on Twitter, right? They're going to know you're going to have a blog. They're going to know that people are going to talk about you, and they're going to know that people are going to type your name into Google. So that goes to the next line, which is offline to online. Very important. I know a lot of people and a lot of our clients who are only doing online marketing, and that is a huge mistake. I love online marketing. I want to do your online, we want to do it for you, but you must do offline marketing as well, because you've got to drive people to type your name in and your brand name into Google. They have to actually type it in there. And you can't do that if it's just online. Sometimes, yes, but most of the time you're going to meet these people, your neighbors, you're going to meet people at the store, you're going to meet people at networking events, Chamber of Commerce, wherever you're going, events, things like that. And you want people to type your name and your brand into Google to look for your website. So it takes 1 to 2 years. It's the long game. I don't think I've ever, except for like in 2012, I could show you how you could dominate page one with all of your vertical SEO in less than a couple of months. And we all did that. Anybody who took my boot camp classes for SEO knows that we could do that. Everyone in my class did that, except for the people that didn't show up for class. But today's different. Today is not 2012. Today is 2019. So the smaller your brand is, the longer the journey. So, it's going to be more work the smaller your brand is. And nobody said life was fair. So keep that in mind as we're going through this material. So how do you become a brand? If you are a person and you own a company, how do you become a brand? Well, you're going to niche it down, you're going to niche it some more, and you're going to niche it even deeper. That's the only way. So this shoe store we talked about, Main Street, this makeup shoe store that I just talked about, Main Street Shoe Company, they have to niche it down. They can't just be a shoe company. What kind of shoes do they sell the most of? Okay. So, all right. So maybe they sell flip-flops. Maybe that's their big thing. Maybe they're in Florida and their biggest selling item are flip-flops. So they are going to have to compete against Nike and Adidas with flip-flops. And guess what? They could beat them with flip-flops because originally everyone's going to think Google is still going to show up, make Nike and Adidas show up no matter what kind of shoe you type in. But after a while, Google's going to start to notice, hey, there's this guy on the market, there's this guy on Google, and that company sells flip-flops. So maybe when the word flip-flop is showing up in Google, maybe that company is the one, because they're only talking about flip-flops, should be coming up on top of Google searches, all right? You have to focus on several keywords that are related to one another. And you have to use semantical index keywords. So let's go back to the shoes. So it's flip-flops, right? Flip-flops, Main Street flip-flops is your brand. What are other words for flip-flops? Sandals, beachwear. So you have to think about what other kind of terms can you use that people would search for. And thongs, right? Toe thongs. I think people still, they might call those in some places. They can still call flip-flops that because they have the toe thing in between the big toe and the middle next toe. So you could think about that, right? So you have to think about semantical index keywords, all right? If you're in real estate and you're a realtor, then you're going to have to think about semantical keywords that you can focus on outside of your several keywords. So, okay. Let me give you an example of where my husband owns a real estate brokerage here in Wellington, Florida. So we try to dominate for Wellington, Florida. Well, we're never going to dominate for Wellington, Florida because there's this company called Zillow that's always going to beat us. All right. Didn't used to be that way, but it is that way today. So guess what? Zillow does not know all the terms, all the semantical indexed keywords that have to do with horse properties. So we dominate the search engines in horse properties, okay? And Google, we can beat Zillow any day on terms that have to do with horse properties that horse people actually type into Google, all right? And so you have to know your niche, right? So you have to think about that. If that's what if you're into the market, if you are a real estate agent, then you have to niche it down that deep and go into a specific niche that you can beat those big guys from. If you're a business consultant and a business coach, then you need to be thinking about how can you niche? Because if you just put in business coach, you're not going to beat the people that are on top of page one for that. I can tell you that right now. You're not going to beat Anthony Robbins, for instance, right? You're not going to beat some of the real big head honchos up there. So you have to think about how can you niche, and then what are the semantical index keywords that help you niche in that. So we have one client, she does creatives. She coaches creatives and she's a business consultant to creatives. It's an amazing niche. It's a great way for her to niche. Okay. So she can really dominate by doing that. And now she has to think of, well, business coach for creatives. Okay. So that's her main SEO keyword. So what other keywords then are semantical to that would be indexed and people would actually probably search? So it would go into the deepness of the creatives. So not only is she a business coach to creatives, she's also a business coach to creatives who are photographers, who are actresses, who are singers, right? So now we're getting into many semantical index keywords that can be all added together in your content. Make sure that you set yourself in that niche and get others to talk about you through vertical SEO and social mentions. Now back to the semantical index keywords. If you are a writer and you're writing if you're doing the writing, and this is, I know our writers are on this call with us, the writers, you need to understand what semantical index keywords are and how do they relate. So if you have a client who has, let's say they have, let's do something else for sale, a historical. Okay, let's say they have a historical property for sale in West Virginia. All right, so it's in a historical neighborhood there. So your semantical keywords are going to be revolving around history, historic, different kinds of words. You know, this old house, you want to key into those kind of words that you hear on HGTV and other TV shows that will bring more semantical index keywords to your mind. And those are all there. So the other thing is we can use Ubersuggest, which is free. Neil Patel bought Ubersuggest, and he just rolled out the third version of it. And if you go to Ubersuggest, totally free tool, you can do a lot with it. It'll give you good keyword suggestions and things like that. And you can find some really good semantical keywords. Okay, you got to get other people to talk about you. They have to be talking about you through your vertical SEO and your social mentions. So they have to be sharing your content on Facebook. They have to be sharing your content in LinkedIn. They have to be sharing your content and talking about you. Now, the really interesting thing about brand with Google is you don't have to link with brand. You just have to make what they call mentions. Okay, so social mentions, that means they don't even have to link to you. You could just be writing, I could be writing a post on LinkedIn and I could say, oh yes, I was, working in increasing my business, and I noticed that I was getting really stuck. So I reached out to a business coach creative named Una. And now I have, at creative.tv, and I don't link any of it, but I mentioned it. I mentioned her brand. I mentioned her niche. I mentioned that all. And that's what we need to be. And Google sees that, and it can read that, and it can crawl that. And that is called brand mentions, which are very, very important today. So one of the things that we're going to be doing at Get It Done For Me is we're going to be creating a circle of people with all the VAs. We're all going to be starting to talk about you guys, our clients. We're going to be making those mentions. We're going to be working on some really cool stuff. Okay, and outside of your office, you need to be passing out your business cards with your name and your brand on it, right? And you want to make sure that they're typing. They can type your website URL, they can type your name, they can type your brand name. You want them coming home, walking into their house or on their phone and typing your brand into that. So you can also think about ways that you can incentivize doing that with your peeps that you meet. You could say, hey, if you type my brand name into Google when you get home, and then find, maybe give them some instructions and then chat me that you did that, I will enter you in a drawing for a free dinner gift card or something like that. So think about ways that you can incentivize people to do that for you. And train people, again, to type. Nothing could be more than important than this in 2019. Train people to type in your brand name into the search engines, okay? So that includes your kid. You can have your kids do it. Get their phone out and type into it. Go to another Wi-Fi, Panera Bread, Starbucks, wherever, and use their Wi-Fi, and you yourself start mentioning yourself on the different platforms, okay? So where does Google look for brands at? Social sites, niche websites, citations, very important, and we can do those for you. Google My Business and Google Map, mentions, and influencers, right? So these are all the different places and ways that you can be amplifying your brand. Next one we're going to talk about is blogging. So are there any questions about brand? Let me just go over here real quick, and I'm going to stop the screen sharing just for a minute so I can see if anyone has any questions at all. So hold on. I'm going to stop screen sharing. Whoa, I didn't want to do that. Can everybody see me? Yeah, that should be, I was just stopping the screen sharing so you should see me. So does anyone have any questions about brand and where brand is heading and why it's so important to develop your brand? Anybody have any questions for that? I'm going to pull up our question panel here and see if there are any questions for that. All right. All right, I don't see any questions on branding. So Hannah, she's losing me. Farah, can you reach out to Hannah and tell her just to refresh her screen and help her out there so she can get back to seeing the webinar. All right, so we're going to go back then, and we're going to move on to the next phase, which is there's a lot to do here today. So we're going to go back to screen sharing. Whoops. Oh gosh, I always hit the wrong thing when I do that. And we're going to go back to our presentation. And let me make sure that all right. Okay, I'm screen sharing and presenting to everyone. Okay, great. All right, so the next section is about blogging. All right. Now, everybody's going to hate me about this one, so let me just grab a drink of water here. Hold on. All right. Those of you who like to do your content fast are going to hate me for this. Don't shoot the messenger. Blogging. Guess what? Long form content rules, and you have to have over 2,000 words. All the testing has been being done for 3 years now that proves that whenever that Google wants in-depth content, the deeper the content, the more traffic you're going to get, because guess what? The more keywords and semantical keywords you're going to have with inside that content. But not only that, the more important than that is that people like it. I know I get every day people, I don't like it. I don't like it. Well, you might not like it, but if you were searching for the answer to a deep question you had, something really serious, you would read everything you can. There's nothing more annoying to me, and I've talked to many people about this and they agree, then when I'm looking for something really serious, I come up with some website that has 2 or 3 paragraphs that are nothing about what I really wanted to find out. And I have to go and search again. I need to understand the topic that I'm looking for. People are not using, so people are not using the internet for quick searches anymore. They use their phones for that. They use voice search and stuff to just get a quick answer. And we're going to cover that as well. But I'm talking about blogging. For your blog to show up, it proves over and over again. I have all the charts that I showed even last year in our SEO update last year, showed the charts of showing how Google chooses the sites with 2,000 plus words above somebody who even has a higher domain authority than you. So that's how important it is. And blogging converts the best out of all internet marketing actions. Take that to home with you. Blogging converts the best out of all internet marketing actions. You have to write niche content, and you must fill that blog up with images, videos, infographics, audio clips, whatever you can think of, GIFs, whatever you can think of to put in there to break up your content. Remember, you should have, no more than 2 or 3 sentences and then a visual component. No more than 2 or 3 sentences and a visual component. And you can go on and on and on for that, right? So how can you get 2,000 words? What I want you to do now is I want you to stop writing new content right now. So that includes our writers. You're going to stop writing new content. And we're going to go back to all the current content we already have. So in Get It Done For Me virtual services, what we're going to do is our writers are going to stop writing new content for you right now. And they're going to start to go back to all your current content that you have on your blog and on your website pages, because it can't be just the blog pages that need to have 2,000 words or more. It's got to be every single page. And they're going to start adding new content to your older posts and articles and pages and get those up to that 2,000. But not only that, they're going to go through and they're going to use my SEO presser to make sure that there's the correct count of links, there's the correct count of keywords and semantical keywords, and that nothing looks spammy. But more than that, we are going to re-audit our own content to make sure it adds value to the user. So gone with the fluff and stuff like, just trying to believe 2,000 words does not mean fluffy words, right? It doesn't mean me to say this. Okay, so let's say I want to sell you, let's say you come to my Delegate My Tasks website and you want to know about SEO. Okay. So, and you want to know what I can help you. And let's say I have a long, nice, beautiful article, 2,000 words or more about how we can help you SEO your content and your website. And I have paragraphs that say things like, you are going to be so wonderfully, beautifully pleased by the wonderful, beautiful, amazing work that we do for your lovely website. You see how I'm using all these superlatives? No superlatives. People don't like that anymore. That is like condescending to me. And so I don't want to read that. I want to know the nitty and the gritty, right? I want to know the steps. I want to know facts that I might not know. Okay, so this is going to take research. So we're going to add time into our VA writers' schedules for researching, because the research got to be really deep. Okay. So this is like the most important piece on your website that we're talking about right now. And moving forward, this is what you're going to see change the most on your websites if you're one of our clients. So Eric NJ, who's the general manager of Proficient Digital, he said this: "We tracked the SEO performance of a number of different sites. The sites that provided exceptional depth and quality content coverage literally soared in rankings throughout the year. Sites that were weaker in their content depth suffered in comparison." Okay, so this is after hundreds, maybe probably thousands of websites. This is what he was able to discern. Again, so you can't just have long content of words that don't mean anything. Google algorithm is the artificial intelligence, the AI is getting so smart that it can read the content now and tell if you're full of crap or not. So it can tell if you're spammy, it can tell, it has all its rules in there, right? It's able to tell that. So gone are the days, you can wipe these days off the planet right now, off your calendar right now, where you could just have one blog and get the leads and the conversions. That doesn't work anymore. Those days are gone, because now you have to be everywhere, because now you need social signals for the AI and the bots, and you can no longer be on just one channel. So people who are going to continue to depend just on their blog, even though you saw how important the blogging is not going to be enough to get you up for your brand, because you've got to have the mentions and you've got to be everywhere. So no longer can you just blog to blog. Now you can add a blog. You can no longer add a blog just to meet your weekly goals. So we used to have like, oh, you got to put out an SEO blog once a week or once every 2 weeks or once. No, you don't do that anymore. Don't worry about how often you post. Rather worry about how good the content is that you're posting. It is better to do just one post per month that is deep, long, full of great content, research, and that you distribute, and you spend the rest of the month distributing that one piece of content. Okay. So you need to write content that moves people, motivates people, connects with your audience. So you've got to distribute this all over the place. Now, we do a great job at our company of distributing your content for you, but we do it just one time. So what's going to change with your tasks with us is that it's going to happen more than just one time. So we are going to have to, except, we've always done Twitter a lot, but now we're going to have to figure out taking out different snippets of that content, right? So if your post is 2,000 words, we can take out, 20, 50 words here and there of really good, let's say it's a list post, and you could say, hey, on Facebook, point number 7 on my list of the top reasons to hire a business consultant today is, and then I give a little snippet and then link back, of course, to the article. So those are the kinds of things that you're going to have to be doing moving forward, and we're going to be doing a lot more of that. All right, so Google has a word called EAT. They say EAT. And in Google Search Quality, it's Google Search Quality Rating Guidelines. And what do they look for on your blog? So they send the bots out to look for expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. That's EAT. E stands for expertise, A stands for authority, and T stands for trustworthiness. So you need to figure out, how can you get more people to talk about you? Maybe you're a company and you have employees. How can you get more of them to blog about you, write about you, speak about you? Okay. How can you, the brand's people, be the go-to source for journalists around your core topic? Okay. How can you get them? How can you get the newspapers to come to you? Because that's the level of expertise that what Google is looking for to power their results. All right. So you want to think about that. So another thing that we offer is press releases. We have a press release program that's very good, and we get you a lot of great backlinks with our press release reporting. And you can do one, it's like $129, I think, a month. And it's one press release a month. And it goes out to all the national places online. We have a good submission service that we use it, and we can write the article for you as well. And so it works really well for you. And that's a great way, but you have to do it over and over again. It's like you can't just do it one time and then that's it. Press releases don't work that way. But that's one thing. But also you got to do reach out programs to the journalists, maybe on LinkedIn or something, because you want them to come to you with their questions, right? And that's another way to do it. So those are the different things that you need to think about to increase your expertise, your authority, and your trustworthiness. So what are some ways to build this trust and everything? So you want it, these are some things. You need content that answers the common user questions. All right. So what are questions people ask Google? And then you answer them. And we're going to go into that more detail when we talk about the rich snippets later on. Ensuring your internal site structure is providing relevant results. Shortening your conversion process. Ensuring that repeat customers can restock commonly purchased items. So if you have an e-commerce site, make sure that they can come back easily and order again easily. Customer support. Do you have good customer support? Do you respond to questions related to the business when people ask about your business? Consider using the chat bots on your website to answer those questions, and set up chat bots in your Facebook Messenger and set them up on your website so that you can have someone logging in, maybe a VA logging in when people go to your website, and a VA could be there, log in and ask if they need any help. You can also set up bots to do that for you until they need to the point where they need to speak to a human. I like to always let people know they're talking to a bot because they think it's fun. And a lot of times they will choose, like 60% of the time, I know more than that, I think, believe 70 something percent of the time, I think you'll find that in one of my Facebook webinars, that the people will choose the bot over a human being to talk to. So it's very interesting. Make sure that you can navigate easily. Okay. And that if you have an offline business, that they can get there easily on Google Maps. And then provide them very clear fulfillment processes. Okay. So those are some things I found from, I think it was Search Engine Land that I think I found this list from. All right. Going to the next part, which is on-page SEO, the next biggest piece here. Let me see. Anybody have any questions? I'm just going to move over. I'm not going to go out this time. I'll just look and see if there's any questions. Okay, anybody have any questions on what we covered so far? Branding and blogging. And so I'm going to take a sip of water while I wait for you to ask any questions you may have. All right, no questions. All right, please don't be afraid to ask questions. All right, now we're going to move on to on-page SEO. All right. Tony Wright, the CEO and founder of Wright IMC, says, we are still seeing incredible results from nothing more than on-page SEO tactics for many companies that come in the door, Wright said. Links are still very important. I'm sorry, my nose. I'm sorry, I'm going to start again. I got something itching on my nose. I can't get it. Hold on just a second. It's like annoying. It's like in there, something like a bug or something flew in my nose. No, that's terrible. All right, I think I'm okay. Okay. We are still seeing incredible results from nothing more than on-page SEO tactics for many companies that come in the door. Links are still very important, but the biggest bang for companies' SEO bucks is on-page, ongoing on-page optimization, because on-page SEO isn't a set it and forget it tactic. This is what most people believe. Most companies will they think that they just go in, and most people that study SEO think you just go in one time, SEO your website, and then you're done. And that's not true. Nothing could be further from the truth. Remember, it is not set it and forgiven. It got to be ongoing. And that's another thing we do a lot with our clients, is we're the ones who handle that for them. Fully optimized social profiles go a long way in establishing a brand's trust for search engines. How many of you have done created a social, I know I have created a social profile and just put your name, uploaded your image, said one or two things, and that was it, and didn't fill out anything else? I'm guilty. You want to fully optimize all of your social profiles, okay? And we can do that for you as well. In our Google My Business section that we're going to get into, one of the things that we do in our Google My Business package for clients is that we create social profiles every month for them, lots of them, and social places that you probably never even heard of in your life. We go out and find them and create all these optimized social profiles to increase your brand. So how will you have time to do all this, right? Social media branding is now a full-time job. SEO is now a full-time job. Networking and reach out programs are now full-time positions in companies, right? You can bring your Facebook and Google ads costs down by 20% if you are a brand. Check that out. If you are a brand, Facebook and Google will trust you more, and your cost for your ads will drop by 20%. That is pretty incredible. That's a significant amount of savings and money. So I would definitely be looking at that. Now, so think about that, because those are things that moving forward, this has to happen. Now, your other alternative is just to go offline, I guess, and do all your business, which you certainly can still, and do your business offline. But if you're going to be online, there's a lot of stuff you have to do. All right, now, next, SEO your website. This is the next thing. So we can help you with that. You can go to delegatemytasks.com/get started. And there's a video on there that shows you how we onboard our clients. And if you want to do it yourself, you can go to SEOforrealestateagents.com / and you can see that 30 steps to SEO your website. And it's not just for real estate agents. The reason, obviously, if you know I'm in SEO, I have to choose a niche, but the SEO works for all niches. But the one I could beat the other people in was SEO for real estate agents. That was a low-hanging fruit. So I chose that domain, but the steps are applied to all niches, okay? But I had to choose one for, I should probably get a pretty link for that anyway. So this is for all niches, right? But you can see what we do and everything to help you with that, all right? But I'm not, the webinar's not over, so don't think that. I just wanted to throw this in there in case you're getting overwhelmed and you're wondering how in the world can you do all this? Well, we can do it for you. All right, so Matt Siltala, the president of Avalanche Media, says, if you can answer a question, get a lead, make a sale, help with SEO link building, reputation management, social proof, community building purposes with a piece of content, then you win. Do your research. Be the solution to the problem that people have. Provide something that is meant for people versus trying to SEO the crap out of it, and you will always do better in your efforts. So remember, SEO is very important, but content is more important. You can't convert people on 2012 SEO tactics. Not going to work today. In 2010, 2008, people expected that garbage on the internet. They expected to find all that, but not today. Now, let's go into NAP. Very important. NAP stands for name, address, phone number. Again, this is a piece of your branding. Again, this is a piece of your mentions. And it's a piece of, oops, and I'm sorry, my phone rang. Let me turn that off. So it's all of this is very, very important to your whole picture, to the whole picture. So your NAP has to be exact everywhere. So that means if you put a period after DR for drive, you have to put it everywhere, a period. If you add a parentheses around your area code, guess what? Everywhere you have to do that. And don't do that because some citations do not allow that. So you don't want to do that. Now your brand name has to be exact everywhere, and you have to have your website link in it, but there's a caveat to that, which I'm going to get to in a little bit. So remember that not all your links in your NAPs, in your citations, should go to your website link. All right. But this is your main NAP I'm talking about. So this would be like on your Google My Business page, and this would be on your website, your main places, your main hubs. You want to have keywords that the branded keywords so that the bots will be able to tell that that's your brand. Okay. And you have to have your images and profiles totally optimized, and you can brand your profile images, and you should. And then you want to interlink all your social channels together. And what that means is that, let's say you go to you go to the bottom of let me think, about me, about.me, and in there it asks you for all the URLs to your other social platforms, and you put in your Facebook link and your Twitter link and your LinkedIn link. That's called interlinking social media. Then you go to your LinkedIn profile and you add all your links to Facebook and Twitter. And so you're doing, wherever you're going, you're adding all those links, right? So that's very, very important job to do. And I'd like for our staff here, our management is in the room with us. And I'd want our management team to please write that down, that we have to interlink all of our clients' social channels. All right. And as you get more channels, you have to go back to all the other ones and add the new links in. So for instance, if we have all the major ones already, and then let's say we're doing citations and Google My Business tasks. And then within those tasks, one of those tasks is to go get 40 more social profiles. So there's many other places to go, and you have to dig and Blogger and Tumblr and all these other places. Well, those all have to be interlinked as well into those others. So every time we do a few more, we've then got to go back to the clients, all the other clients' social profiles, and add those links. Okay. Now we're going to go on to the biggest part of the day, which is we have more, but this is so important. This is moving forward, the most important thing there is to work on. Just because you see your brand on the map does not mean that you're in the 3-pack sandwich. All right. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples of this. We have literally thousands of tasks to do for you on Google My Business. There are thousands of tasks to do for Google My Business tasks. Humans at Google check your pages. They check to make sure, they check the map to make sure there's really that building in the world. They send out a physical postcard to you in the mail to make sure that you really have a business. And you have to verify your Google My Business page through the mail by the postcard. They no longer will allow fake suite numbers or PO boxes. More and more of our clients that do that and have done that in the past find that their Google My Business pages are suspended. Okay, it's hard to get somebody off their butt at Google to go unsuspend your page as well. Now, I want to tell you a little story about this, about the 3-pack. So I was talking to a potential client, and I was trying to explain about the Google My Business page, and the person could see they could see it on the map. But what I was trying to explain was that doesn't mean other people can see it on the map. And I was talking to another one of my clients, and he made a whole bunch of Google Maps, which is great, but he didn't do it the right way. And what happened is that whenever I went to look at one of his maps, I got a different result than he did because it was all under his own maps. Okay, which is how Google does it. So there's a trick around that, which we know that we can get your Google Maps embedded and things embedded on your map that make other people see it. Okay, so this is very important, and I have a couple of images that I'm going to show you here in just a minute. So local relevance is one of the 3 most important ranking factors for Google My Business. How local are you and how relevant you are to your local market? So Google got rid of the 7-pack, which was a bummer, and now they have the 3-pack. The higher your organic results, the higher your local Google My Business page will go. So that's another little thing. So the more SEO you do to your website, the higher your website goes, the higher your Google My Business page goes. Also reviews, get reviews, because reviews are magical according to the heat map studies. Okay, so what happens is there's the software out there that you can get that shows where people hang out on your page. And so I read some articles from SEO Moz that showed these heat map studies. I don't have that because it's expensive. So it's pretty expensive software. But anyway, they have it. And what they did was they had people go and search and go to and what did they do when they got to the Google My Business pages? And they did some testing on that. And also some other people I know did a lot of testing on this. And what happened was where it's red is where they hang out the most, right? And no matter what the scenario was, and it was the scenario was, I think that the test they did was like looking for, was it a plumber? I'm not positive. It was some kind of a local service. So he's a plumber or a contractor or something like that for some kind of an emergency that happened or whatever. And so the person would go, and even if they were already referred to somebody, when they went to the Google map and got the 3-pack pulled up for their search, they would click on the one that got the most reviews, and they read the reviews. So overwhelmingly, this happened. So make sure, everybody kept asking me, where's the most important place to get your reviews? And I always like to say your website, but now I can't say that anymore because you can copy and paste those ones from Google, your Google reviews, and you can paste those onto your website. But now you need to ask all your customers and people that you do business with to go and do the and embed and go write reviews on Google, okay, on your Google My Business. So this is what that looks like. So this is our chiropractor, and we do all the marketing for him, and he's #1 for Wellington FL Chiropractor. Okay, so people learn very quickly in our area that you have to have the FL in there because Wellington is the capital of New Zealand. So even though there is geotagging and Google tries to figure out where you're going and looking, people figure out real quick that they're still getting mixed up with the Wellington in New Zealand. So he's got 5-star reviews. He's got 8 reviews. The guy in #3 spot has 3 reviews. It looks like all 3 of these are pretty optimized. And so what we're trying to, anyway, so this is showing you how that happens. And we do a lot of work on his Google My Business page. This is one of our searches for my husband's company, where we are #2 in the Google sandwich. We have 8 reviews at 4.5. Somebody gave me a really bad review. It was a competitor, not a competitor. It was an SEO guy. It was so mean. And he was working for another company here, and he wrote something really mean about me. And no matter how much I tried to get it gone, I couldn't get Google to get rid of it. And the thing is that you have to remember this. If a person has never done business with you, they can't write a review about you. So if they write a bad review and they just did it to be mean, to ruin your reputation or whatever, then Google does have to remove it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and show you. Well, let me do the Google Maps real quick, and then we'll go back and I'll show you online a couple of these. So for Google Maps, so that's the other piece of this. Next to your Google My Business page is the map, right? And that was those searches that you just saw were on the map. You need to do at least 75 My Map citations. Okay, and we know how to do those for you. You can also become a Google guide. This is very good, or our VAs can become guides for you. But this is a really good strategy. Google loves their guides. Okay, they gave me an award. I'm a Google guide, and they gave me some kind of award for uploading a picture for my, I don't know, meet some kind of a goal or whatever it was that they gave me. So you can upload photos and videos to the map, which helps you a lot, and set up directions to your office from many different points in your community and city. So you want to go to your town center. Let's say you have a rec center. You want to go there. And then you want to set up the directions on the map from there to your office. You want to go to City Hall, especially City Hall, because Google looks at City Hall as your town center. So then take it from your City Hall to your page, which is really weird here in Wellington because it's nowhere near town center. So it's really strange. But anyway, so that's kind of how you have to do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some of these on, let me pull these up. I did some incognito searches, and I just want to show you a couple of these things that happens. Okay, so you saw the chiropractor, and I'm just going to show you a couple other things here. I'm going to screen share. I don't think I can just change. So let me just see something here. All right. Go to another application window. Okay, we'll go to this one here, and I'll share this one. Present to everyone. Okay, so Now I'm in Google Incognito. Whenever I do my searches and we check for keywords and things like that, we always use Google Incognito because then it's not supposed to use anything about you in it, what it knows about you. So one of the things that Google does with Google My Business is they allow you to have a free website. So they have this little website. So we set this one up for our chiropractor, and it's very simple. There's not a lot you can do with them. So they have the title, which we have, of course, is keywords and stuff like that. They have a button there that you can put in. They have a little banner. I got to do a new one because we're just using the one from something else that we did for him. So I have to change that out. And then it'll have updates where you can do these little posts. And then it'll have more updates there. And then it'll have services. And so you can fill these out. You get your 3 categories. Then an about page little area there, and then a gallery. So the bad part about the and then the map. Okay. Your call now and get directions. Now on the phone, this looks a lot different. You're looking at it on a desktop, a laptop. And then these are the business hours. So this is when you build out your website, your free website from Google, this is what it looks like. There's not much you can do with it, but it's good enough. Call now and get directions. So the button that gets pushed the most for the chiropractor is get directions. That's very interesting. So that's one piece of it. Now, also his website. So here he is at number 1 on that I showed you that screenshot of, right? And then we went down, we were number 1. What happened was we were number 1 here, and we had to change his website out. And the problem was with his hosting, I don't know, it's a big mess, and I don't need to go all into it. What ended up happening is we had to use a different domain, and we couldn't transfer his domain. We forwarded his domain, and that can hurt you a little bit in SEO, and then you have to kind of start over. So when we first did that switch, guess what? 2 weeks later, he was nowhere, and he was number 1 for his website. Then he was number 10, and now when it was a brand new website, it was still number 10. So it still said like something like the WordPress website. All we did was change the title correctly, and he moved up to the 5th spot. So he's now back up at the 5th spot, but I'm wondering why it's not giving me his full description. I have to work on that alt tag, I guess, for a description, which is interesting because I have it in there. Okay, I have to make a note of that. So anyway, so he's number 5, and we are going to get him up higher. All the rest of them, this is like the Yelp is number 1, of course. And this $29 guy is a franchise all over the United States, But so for sure, and I've beaten both of these guys before, so I know we can beat them again. But anyway, so this all is connected together, right? In these directions and everything like that. So the other one I wanted to show you is for my husband's company. If we put in here Wellington FL Luxury Realtor, which is how we got our last listing, we got a listing for that. Got another one for equestrian words. And we are number 1 as well, live. Okay. So we're number 1, and we were on here. I don't know if that we're here anymore on our, I am. There's my Active Rain post about, so my Active Rain blog comes up for that term. All right. I don't try to, usually we're working on equestrian terms. So I was kind of surprised that we showed up for the luxury term. And then for branding, you need to be able to type in your name, and everything should be me, right? So I type in Katarina Gassett, and look, there's my website, Facebook, Active Rain, LinkedIn, website, videos, websites, YouTube, Twitter, Pinterest, and it should keep going. Photos of me, Twitter, Bigger Pockets, delegate my tasks moving up there, Medium. So I was on a podcast that's there. So all kinds of things here. All right. So, I'm on Amazon. Look at that. My Amazon book. Oh, my Amazon thing, editorial reviews. That's really cool. So that's another place. Yeah. We talk about. So those are some of the things that, that you need to be doing. So we should be coming back online here. Hold on. I was just getting rid of that one. Oh, and let me show you an example of, let me do this real quick. I want to show you an example of long form content. Let me show you. Okay. So I'm going to share with you one of the posts that I did. This is a long form content. It's probably got, I don't know, close to, it might even be close to, I think close to 5,000 words. So this is called a pillar post. And I have a title, that's SEO title. Then I have an image. Then I have a little going into it kind of thing, and a prelim, right? And then I have my table of contents. Very important. You must have a table of contents in your long form content so people can just click to go to those sections. Very important that you have that. Then we have a subheading, right? Content, subheading, content, visual appeal. I didn't want to do too much, so links are in there. So here we go, another visual, call to action box. And I also have a pop-up and everything like that. But anyway, so I'm trying to do a very good trick to do with things that aren't super visual is to use content boxes. And especially if you're using Thrive, use content boxes and color those in, and then just put your, whatever you're trying to say, your quote or whatever inside of that. And it gives a nice breakup, you see, into the content. And then I created columns here. These are just columns. Lines you can use. So all these different interesting elements. Here is a infographic, another line, a quote post, checklists, bullets, video, links, more information, nice bolding and spacing, more visuals. You see how nice the spacing is between everything. Pictures. All right. Another image. Reviews. Great. Always put reviews if you have them. Amazing review that I put there. More information, again, short, more testimonials. Call to actions. And then something funny at the end by Gary Vaynerchuk. So that is how a true long form content post should look. Now you can do this. This is full width. And I did that on purpose because I didn't want the focus to be on the right sidebar. But you can have a right sidebar. That's fine. They're actually, it's good, especially if you're doing ads if you're adding ads to your, if you're doing any kind of Google AdSense or anything, you're going to want a right sidebar on your blog. Okay. And you can choose some posts to have one and some not. Also in Thrive, I know you can do that. So that is pretty cool. All right. So let me go back to, present to everyone. Should still be presenting to everyone. Let's go back to our slides. I think I have to change it again. I think I have to change to the application window again. Yeah. All right, so we'll go back to the slides. All right. Now, so let's go to the next one, organic SEO. So for organic SEO, you want to use geo modifiers, right? So you want to make sure you're setting your geo modifiers in everything that you do. I haven't looked in YouTube for a while, but you used to be able to set them in YouTube as well. I'm just not sure if you still can, if they took that, or they took a lot of things away. They keep changing a lot of things at YouTube. Focus on vertical SEO. Okay, and I've been saying this forever, and I got to toot my own horn here. I have been proving that you can rank for vertical SEO for years. Okay, so we've been doing this, I think, vertical SEO, I think we've been doing since like 2012. And it works all the time. And now, and everybody, most people say, oh no, it has to be your website. It can only be your website. Well, guess what? Google's only going to give your website 2 spots on page 1. So you're not going to get, unless it's for a term nobody looks for, then you can have more. But so you can't do that. You have to have vertical SEO. You have to have a YouTube account up there. You have your LinkedIn post, your slide share, blogging on Medium. All of those things have to be going on so you can take more spots on page 1. Okay, because Google doesn't see those as you owning those. If you write on Medium, it doesn't look at you as the owner. It looks as Medium as the owner. If you're a realtor and you're writing on ActiveRain, it doesn't look as ActiveRain as belonging to you. It looks at it as belonging to ActiveRain Corp. So those are perfect ways to get more than one spot on Google, page one. And so that's called vertical SEO. Now, to toot my own horn, after all these years of me saying we need to do this and proving that we can do it and showing people over and over and over again that we do this for our clients, Neil Patel, the main guru of gurus today, I mean, he's become famous in the last couple of years and positioned himself as the SEO guru. He just came out and said, you have to do vertical SEO just this year, just in his 2019 update. So I found that very interesting because now they're saying, yes, you have to. So now we're going to have more competition now because, the word's getting out that you need to do it. Create a plan of action for your blog distribution and get into Amazon. Do something. Create an ebook, a Kindle book. I don't know. Get a product to sell. I don't care. But get into Amazon. You saw how my Amazon came up? Do that. I think you can do a magazine on Amazon. There's so many things that you can do. And you should be getting a links and profiles and stuff on Amazon. So create that content for Amazon because Amazon is actually the third largest, I believe, search engine there is. So it's its own search engine. You've got Facebook being its own search engine. YouTube is its own search engine, Google, and you have Amazon up there, okay? And it's making some pretty big strides into becoming a gigantic search engine. The next we have to talk about is backlinking. Backlinking is so important. We used to just backlink to your websites and to the inner pages of your websites, which we still do, and you have to interlink your website together. But now you need to send backlinks to your GMB page and to your Google Maps. And most people don't do that. So if you want to go ahead of your competition, think about that one. You can do that. And we're starting to do that for our clients when we're doing their citations. So this is an awesome way for you to build up that Google My Business page. Link wrap all or as many as you can of your social sites and your buffer sites. Spy on your competitors for backlink that they are getting, and then go get the same ones. And you can do that. I have software links. Oh, I thought I had the software link. I don't think I have it. Okay, so I'll send that out in the replay email. I have a link to software that I use to spy on our competitors. So I will get that. Let me see if there's any questions so far. Okay. Yeah, so this is a really good question. Okay, so I have some good questions coming in. All right. That's interesting, Ryan. I wonder why you have lots of buffering. I wonder if it shouldn't be on YouTube's side. Okay. All right. So let me go through. Now we have questions. So we're going to, well, actually, let me wait till the end because most of these are not, let me see how much I can get through before I get to these. So hold on. Let me see how many slides I have left. Oh, too many. Okay, I better answer the questions in case people can't stay. All right. All right. So Keith says, what about if you're a realtor working from home? How do you do maps on Google? Good question. All right. So we use our home address for our business. We have actually in Florida, we are a home office. And we are by law required to use our home address as our business address and to make it public. And so we have to in Florida. And so we have a sign on our door. We have an outside door. We have an office that we have in our house, but nobody comes to it. And we have our, Florida disclosures, which is the, the notice that we're a brokerage and everything like that. And so I will tell you, we've been on the map since 2005. And never one person has knocked on our door to come in, say, I want you to list my house or I want to show you houses or anything like that. So I wouldn't worry about if people are going to find out, where you live and stuff like that. Now, one of the things you can do, you don't get as good at SEO and you cannot do maps, then you can't do directions on it, is if you choose service areas. So if you do your home and then you can hide your home address from the public and just use service areas. Problem with that is you're not going to get the Google. If it depends on your competition. If you don't have a lot of competition, it doesn't matter too much because you can probably get away with that. But if you have competition like we do, we have to use the maps to our benefit because our Our SEO competitors right here in Wellington are doing this same thing. They know SEO like we do, like I do. One of the ladies knows it just as good as I do. And she's in some pretty powerful Facebook SEO groups and things like that. So I have to do it this way. If you don't have a lot of competition, you could probably hide the home address, put the home address in, choose to hide, and then choose service areas. You just can't do directions to service areas. Next question was reviews, Google reviews versus Facebook reviews. Well, Facebook reviews don't show up on search engine results pages very much. Google doesn't like Facebook, so they don't want Facebook showing up on their search engine. So I would say that I would choose Google reviews. I like Facebook reviews because I do most of my business on Facebook. So I think it's important. And I think if you're getting business, if you're doing ads on Facebook and things, and where they're going to actually see your Facebook business page, yes, you do need to have reviews there as well. So probably a mix of half and half. If you have nice people, they'll do it on both. But a lot of people don't want to do two; they just want to do one. But the Google reviews are the ones that are going to shoot you up in the sandwich. And for Lorena, you need to be in that sandwich. So that's going to be very important moving forward. And the reason why that's so important moving forward is because Google wants it that way. So for mobile, okay. So for instance, on desktop, you still see the maps, right? But on mobile, Google only wants the map to show up. They don't want people's websites to show up. The only websites they want people to click through to are your little Google My Business free websites that they give us now, okay? Because they're mobile optimized. And so it increases the mobile user experience. Okay, let's see what other questions we have. How do I watch and also have the comment box to type? I have no idea. We'd have to ask, maybe Farah knows the answer to that. I have no idea about that one. Okay, and Isabella, yes, it's recorded, and hopefully there's no problem with that. It says, I have, regarding your screen about blogging and images, I have country club pages with descriptions and IDX. I have taken video snippets and want to add additional pictures. But my concern is if I put too much on a page, the load speed will be too long. Yeah, that's one of the problems. It's what I do is I don't put them on my website. I put my videos on YouTube, and then you want it on YouTube, not Facebook. I put my videos on YouTube, and then I embed them with the iframe on my website, which means they're actually playing on YouTube, right? But I'm getting counted for the person staying on my website. Let's see what's next. There was another question. My other question is that I get a lot on one page. The page load is going to be too slow, and that's a problem. That is a problem. So you have to check your page load speed, especially for mobile. Desktop is not as bad, okay, as for mobile. And I'm going to tell you, for Isabella, I know where you are. You're in Florida, and most of your customers are going to be baby boomers and above. I will tell you that when I look at my analytics, 85% of all my customers, all of our traffic to the real estate business part of it, come from desktop. 85% is desktop. Okay. So mobile has not reached that level with the kind of niche that we're in. But if you're in the young niche, 20 and 30-year-olds, then your mobile has to be more important than your desktop. And so in that case, you just got to keep testing it, and you need to optimize those images and optimize everything to fit in that mobile screen and load really quickly. So you have to experiment around with that, and you always use Pingdom to is it Pingdom? Pingdom, I think it is, to do that. Okay. So, all right. So we're going to go on now. All right. So Social Fortress, the next thing you have to do is you have to build your Social Fortress. So the first month that you do your SEO, you need to do these things. You need to create 15 social accounts your first month. Create 40 more social accounts your second month. And then link wrap all of those accounts. You have to log into every account one time per month at least. And this is brand new stuff. So my management team, please pay attention to that. The VAs have to log into every single account at least one time per month at least, so that Google knows that people are going there. Okay. Add content and optimize every account. So you can do little by little. It's better to do little by little. And everything needs to be in your brand name and your niche. Okay, so brand name plus your niche. And your alt tags, your page name, your username, your bio area, all should have your brand name. If they allow you to pick a username, choose your brand name. If they allow you to pick your own URL after the, like facebook.com/, right? Make sure you're picking your that name as your brand name. Okay. Always your brand name, bio area, talk about your niche, alt tags, all your pictures should have brand name, your niche and everything like that in them. So you have hundreds of Social Fortress, hundreds of accounts in your Social Fortress. Then you may need to have a virtual assistant that can manage all of these accounts and update them daily, answering messages, building relationships, and more importantly, engaging with the user. So again, that's where we come in. We can help you with all of that. Next is citations. You need to have at least 82 business citations and then another 80 citations in another, 1 or 2 months later. And you need to optimize every single citation. You need to brand every one of them. This is a very tedious task. So I highly suggest that you delegate this to our team. We have a guy, a VA that does just citations for our clients. And so he knows he can do them a lot faster than you or I can, and he can get a lot more of them done. Image SEO, so important. Google still wants their depository of images to show up in the SERPs. So make sure that you have SEO'd all your images. You use your Alt1 title tag for your image and description tag, fill that in, and make sure that you establish the image as its own page on a WordPress website. So that means you're going to you're going to upload it into your media library on WordPress. Then you're going after it, how it opens up a little bit. And there's edit more or something like that, or something like, I think it's edit. You click on edit and it opens up into another page and you'll see an attachment URL, and that's its own page. In there's a lot of places to add content. You want to fill all those up on your website. You want to fill them all up with your title tags and your alt tags and description. You can write whole posts on these images. And that's what you want to do, because it's not going to make the post show up. It's going to make the image show up. Okay, so it's very important to do. And management team, again, jot that down, because that is something that has to be done on every single image. And that's going to take time. I'm going to say it's going to take 30 minutes per image. So we want to start with the most important and the nicest and the best images, which of course are going to be our clients' profile pictures, of course, their logo. That's what you're going to start with. And then, their designations, things that are important to brand, all of those first, and then their other images of them, those kinds of things. Then we have video SEO. And if you go to TubeBuddy.com/GIDFM, you can spy on your competitors in video. Okay. TubeBuddy is free. And then they have it's very inexpensive. I think I just signed up for it for the paid version because I wanted to get more tags. And I think I'm paying, I can't remember. I think it's $9 a month or something. It's not very much at all. So you can spy on your competitors on YouTube, not on Google, but on YouTube. And it tells you, and you want to make sure that you fill in your description there and link to all your brand fortresses in each one of your videos in the description area. And you need to use captions. And again, if we're doing videos for you, most of our videos don't have captions because we're using slides that have text on them so people can already read them, because we don't have audio files, right? But when we use audio files, and we will be doing audio file, we do have orders from clients. Make sure, management team, that we are getting their captions done. We have to do the caption files. And that goes for Get It Done For Me Now too. We haven't done those. And then you have, and mainly because there are so many hearing impaired people in the world. I didn't realize how many people, just in the United States alone, there's 32 million hearing impaired people. So they want to watch your video and they can't. And then you have all the people who are not turning the sound on. So they're missing everything in your video. That's why this is so important. And this goes for your videos. You can do videos on YouTube, on Vimeo, and LinkedIn now has video. Oh my gosh, I have to do a whole nother webinar. I can't get into that now on just LinkedIn. Oh my gosh, you should see what you can do on LinkedIn now. And then you want to do Facebook Lives and short little Instagram 10-second videos, right? Now, what's coming up, it's not in 2019. This is going to come, but it's happening already. But Google doesn't have the search capabilities for it yet, and neither does anybody else. So they're working on it. And they're thinking 2022 is when this is going to be out there. So start now, start optimizing for it now, so you're not left in the dust when this happens, especially for mobile. So voice search, 2 out of 5 adults use voice search. That's when I pick up my phone, I pick up my iPhone, and I type something in there, right into I type it into Google, a question, or I voice it in. So I'm chatting, right? So it's voice, I'm sorry. And the same thing if you're using it on your computer and you can talk into it. If like on a Mac, you can talk into it. So if you're on iPad or anything that you are, if the only thing that this doesn't work yet with is like Echo and it works with Siri, but it doesn't work with Echo. And what's the other thing? Alexa. It doesn't work yet with that. And so we're trying to figure out everybody's trying to scramble to figure out how can we be the ones that show up when it's an Alexa voice search, right? Because there's no data and there's no way to track the results right now or anything like that. But start to create your content for voice search now. So it's different than typing. Pay attention to yourself the next time you do it. Go to, when you're going to type something, pay attention the next time you type something into Google and when you ask Siri a question, and notice the difference, right? So what's going to happen is you're going to ask a question and you're going to answer the question in 1 to 2 short sentences. This doesn't mean short content. It just means that whatever post it's going to be on is going to have those 1 or 2 short sentences that comes up for the viewer to see. Mobile SEO, super important moving forward. In my area, it's not so much in my husband's real estate space, but in my space, yes, it's very, we've noticed that most people that click on our ads, Facebook ads, are clicking on them from mobile. So it just depends on your niche. It depends on the age group of people that you're working with, etc. It depends on your avatar. Remember, avatars. Your site must be mobile friendly. And remember that the users would rather be using apps on a phone. They don't want to go to the internet on the phone. They'd rather have an app. Google also wants it to look like an app when they land on Google Chrome. So when Google Chrome is being used, they want it to appear like an app and work like an app. And that's why they are so interested in having the Google Maps be what shows up, and the Google little free Google websites, and the click here for directions, and the call here, all of those things act like an app. The problem is that you can't make a pretty site for mobile. You can make it efficient and you can make it conversion friendly, but don't expect you to have beautiful graphics on a mobile. It's not going to happen. So you have, it's a much different experience. The user difference is much different on a mobile. So if you still have, I'm going to tell you, if you still have, 30% or more of your traffic coming from desktop, I suggest that you work on page load speed first. Make sure that your site is mobile responsive and make it pretty for the desktop. So there's some things that we can do, like when we're working in Thrive, where we can make an image go away on a mobile. It removes like a large image. So we're kind of practicing with making it beautiful still on the desktop, but not with as big as images as they used to be. So we're working with that, and we're testing different ways to do this. But for now, this is very important to make sure that your mobile site looks like kind of like an app the more you can. All right. Because remember, and they don't want drop-down menus either. Anyway, so this is what your, the user experience is much different on a mobile than it is on a desktop. Okay. And don't use drop-down menus. I'm sorry, my phone kept ringing. I have to turn it like off, I think here. Okay. I just want it in case there was an emergency with the webinar or something. But anyway, they want sites to look very clean and crisp. And so those are the kind of sites I'm making now. Very clean, crisp, very nice. They're really beautiful to look at. But we're getting rid of drop-down menus, and all that stuff that used to be in drop-down menus is going on the home page further down the page. And there's going to be other things like boxes and buttons for people to push to go to the different things that used to be on the drop-down menus. But mobile does not work well with drop-down menus at all. And people get very frustrated and they'll jump off your site. The next one is, okay, here's the spy checker. I'm sorry. So it's KaterinaGassett.com, best SEO tools. So if you go to KaterinaGassett.com, best SEO tools, you can check out the system that I use, the software that we're using. Very inexpensive. SEMrush is awesome, but for most of you, you don't need to the extent of SEMrush, and it's very expensive. So, to get a good version of SEMrush, you're going to be paying $300 a month. And I think this tool is something, like, I don't know, a couple $100 for a year, so it's a really big difference, and it works just as well. So check out KaterinaGassett.com/best SEO tools. You can buy their SEO spy checker, and then you can see all the links that your competitors have. You can see what the keywords they're using and everything like that, because remember, you can't play nice because there's only 10 spots on Google. So it doesn't matter how nice you are. You've got to kick somebody off, right? So you're looking at how to kick them off. And the best way to do that is by spying on your competition. The next thing that's very important is schema markup. And we can do that for you as well. But you get your schema markup done on your sites. Study JSON script to see which kinds of pages and products are permitted in the markup. And you can use schema for events. So like if you're in real estate, open houses. If you're a business coach, it could be for your coming up webinar. You can do it for products, locations, very important, reviews, very important, and other things. The number one thing I would ask you to do for schema is reviews. So take the reviews on your website and mark them up as schema. Remember, you can go to Google and you can go to Facebook and you could go to all the places where people leave you reviews, Yelp, wherever, and you can copy them and put them and type them again in. I wouldn't paste them. I would type them. You know what I mean? Don't put in a screenshot as an image. In other words, type it in actually, and then do a schema markup on those reviews. That would be very good for you to do. SSL, there's no longer a choice. I never did agree with it. I thought it was a big way for a couple of companies to make all the money, but now you can do them pretty much for free. You just have to renew them once a year, but you have to have an SSL certificate now to secure your website. And Google now warns people that your site is not secure when you go there. They freak them out and all that. So if you don't have SSL and you want it, just ask Daisy to order it for you. Rich snippets. This is magical. So you really want rich snippets. So you set up the question, then you set up your answer, bold your first paragraph of your post. That's going to be the answer to the question. Remember, the title needs to be the question, okay? So this is really important. These are those answer boxes. And so this is what the director of SEO at Vertical Measures said. We have been able to achieve many answer boxes for our own site and our client websites. Every time this happens, it results in a significant spike in organic traffic. And it does. It is the number one place people click, and they'll come through to your website. So this is what that looks like. If I say, can I buy a house with 0 down? This is what comes up. Zillow comes up first. But underneath Zillow, okay, comes up this place here that says people also ask, okay? And see how the answer comes up right here already? So the answer is already up there. And then people also ask, is it possible to buy a house with no money down? So I would take that and write the answer, take that question and then write the answer and see if I could beat whoever they have up there. Can I get a 0 down mortgage? How do you buy a house with no money out of pocket? What is the HOPE program? All of these you can see. Those are the things people ask. You should be writing about those. Okay. So now, if you want to get started with us, if you just want to try us out, you can buy 100 hours for $10 an hour. You have to use it in 90 days and there's no contract for you to sign. If you're interested in us helping you with all of this, go to delegatemytask.com/jumpstart. We can also do a lot of other things for you. So we can do ISA work, inside sales. We can do CRM work, CRM platforms. We can do, all your writing and blogging. We can do social media for you. We can do all of these things besides just SEO. But this webinar is about SEO. So go to delegatemytask.com/jumpstart to get started. And then we have some GMB packages if you're interested in just ordering the Google My Business packages. There's a $97 setup fee. The first two payments are $399 each month. And then after that, they're $497 a month, or you can do a $799 package each month for full throttle. But this is going on for at least 6 months, and you probably have to go further than that. But just let you know that this is what entails to do all those, zillions of tasks that we went over, and a lot more, because a lot of the stuff we do is proprietary. So I can't show you everything that we do, but there's tons and tons. I mean, you should see our checklist there. I will tell you, there's thousands of things to do just on Google My Business to get you ranking and keep you up there against your competition. The other packages that we have block of time packages, which are our most popular, because then you can move things around and order whatever you want when you want it. Every 2 weeks, you pay for your block of time, but you can mix and match all of your tasks. But for those who don't want that, we also have LinkedIn profile and optimization packages. We have social media packages, Pinterest packages, and a lead generation startup package. Now, if you're on the Jumpstart program or the block of time, you don't have to buy other packages because we can incorporate all of those tasks into your block of times. And let me know if you want to do the Jumpstart. Just again, go to delegatemytask.com/jumpstart. No contract, 100 hours, use it in 90 days. If you have other questions directly to me, text me at 561-502-1577, 561-502-1577. Now that we're done with that part, I am going to open it back up to questions. And let's go here. I'm going to stop screen sharing. There we go. All right. So let me see if we have any questions that you need me to answer now. You will get a recording of this in your email because that was a lot of stuff. I don't know how any of us can remember all of that stuff. Brand name on alt tags. Yes, Keith, brand name on your alt tags. You should have your brand name. You should have your name. You should have your geo targets, everything on the alt tags. Alt tags don't show up unless someone hovers over it with their mouse, right? Anybody else have questions? I'm be here for, I did that really fast. Usually it's like a 2-hour webinar when we're doing SEO updates. So I went through that material really, really fast. And usually we have a lot more questions too. So maybe some people don't know how to use the commenting area, and that might be part of it. But anyway, go ahead and type in your questions. I can see them now. And I will be happy to answer them. And I will stay here for just 2 more minutes to see if you have any questions. So management team and everybody on our team, our tribe, our awesome tribe, thank you for being here. And you guys can go back to sleep now for a little bit before you get back to work. If you have any questions, you can chat me up in Google Hangouts, and we will start to put together all of these task checklists for you for these new, all of this new stuff that we're going to be starting next pay period. Okay. We're going to start to slowly move in. So don't think that you have until next pay. So if you're doing an article and we tell you, well, now you're going to go back into the content, that's what you're going to do, even if it's in this pay period. Okay. So just don't want you to think that you don't have to do anything from this list, this pay period. It's just that we're hoping to get it all working right by next pay period. Okay. And systematized. Anybody have any other questions? I'll wait around for like 1 more minute. So hopefully everyone's doing well. We've had a wonderful cold spell here in Florida. I love cold weather and I never get any. So I'm just like basking in it. It's been down in the 50s and 40s sometimes. And then I go outside and I walk because I love 50-degree weather and 60. Actually, I love 60s really well, but I can't, I exercise, I jog now, trying to lose weight and all that, trying to get my heart healthy. It is healthy, but I want to keep it healthy. So I've been like trying to jog and stuff like that. And so I'll do my run. And if it's too hot, I hate doing it. So I won't go outside to do it, but I love being outside. So I love having the nice cool weather so we can be outside more. And it doesn't happen very often here in Florida. It's typical that our winters are in the 80 degrees. In fact, but in another couple of days, we'll be back to 80 degrees. And that's what happens here in Florida is we'll get 1 or 2 days of cool weather in the winter, and then boom, it's back to summer weather again. So it doesn't happen very often. Okay, so a question came in. If my website is my personal name, okay, and I have a different title, what should be my brand? Well, your brand would be your name. I know who you are. So your brand would be your name plus the word realtor after it. That would be your brand. Or it would be waterfront homes with docks for sale, waterfront homes for sale. It would be, horse farms for sale, stuff like that. So you have to think, remember, you need to have a geotag too, some kind of a, you need some kind of a modifier to it, is the word I'm looking for. Yes, the number of Facebook reviews is displayed in Google My Business, but it doesn't help you. Okay, so I mean, there's no correlation to where you are on the map based on Facebook reviews. But again, Facebook reviews are important and you want the number to show on there because that's going to make it look like you have that reach, right? Stephanie, yes, the SEO for real estate agents, what you trained before, the SEO is the same thing as the challenge. Remember when I did the 30-day challenge, the free challenge, the 30 days to SEO your site challenge? It's that content from that challenge. It's $97 for that program. Any other questions? All right, it is 7:43 and I'm going to go ahead and close this out. We will work on this recording over the next couple of days. I'm totally booked tomorrow. I have to do my Facebook Live tomorrow. Remember, we have Facebook Lives every Thursday at 3. And just because I have a webinar today does not let me get out of my Facebook Live tomorrow. So we will be working on Facebook Live tomorrow. If there's anything in particular, any kind of content you want to go over, or want more information on, let me know so that I can cover it in the Facebook Live tomorrow. And I think that's about it. So you should be getting the recording by Friday. Also, if you go and like our page, facebook.com/get it done for me, and then like that page and then ask to become a member of my community called Get It Done For Me Now Virtual Services Community. In that community, everything is free in there that is in there. So I have all my recorded Facebook Lives, which has all been on Facebook marketing for the last few months. And then every time we do these webinars, so everyone else, they won't get it after the replay. They don't get it anymore. It gets closed down. But I put that video under unlisted, and then I put that video, upload it to Facebook. So it'll be in the group. So if you're in that community group, I'm really trying to grow that group. I don't have a lot of time, so I need everybody's help to help me grow that group. So if you go in there and click on the videos, you'll see all the videos I've done, and I'm going to be putting this in there. So in case you lose after I turn off the link will only be available for a couple of weeks, and then about 14 days, and then we turn it off. So then you'll have to go into the group to watch this training and this webinar. All right. So make sure you do that as well. All right. So I'm excited to help you out, and I look forward to seeing you again in more of my webinars. The next webinar I will be doing will be in February sometime, and it'll be on Pinterest. So I will be doing one sometime either at the end of February or very beginning of March. I'm not sure which one, but we're going to be doing one. I'm going to be showing you some really cool stuff, how we've been able to grow our following on Pinterest and what you can do to help your business using Pinterest. So we're going to be doing that webinar. Okay. So if there's no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and close out and stop the broadcast. Bye.